This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
Hi, I'm Cindy Harris. Welcome to Easy Entertaining.
Beef Wellington is a great entree to serve for a special occasion. They're a tender piece of filet mignon wrapped in puff pastry. And the best thing about it is it's really easy to put together, and you make them earlier in the day. So all you have to do is pop them in the oven right before you're ready to serve. Now I'm going to start by getting 4 pieces of filet mignon. They're about 1.5 inches thick and about 5 inches long. And I'm going to go ahead and season each piece really well with some kosher salt and some black pepper. And then with my tongs, I'm going to flip these over, and then I'm going to season this side as well with the kosher salt and the black pepper. Now I've taken my large saute pan and I have it on a medium-high heat. I want it to be really hot. And then I'm going to go ahead and just drizzle about 1 tablespoon of olive oil and swirl that around in the pan, and you can see how hot that pan is, which is great. Then I'm just going to take the fillets and I'm going to put them into the pan. I'm going to sear these really quickly. Now, because the pan is so hot, after just a minute or two, we'll flip these over and we'll have great color. And then it's only going to take another couple of minutes on that side, and we'll have great color then on both sides of the meat. Then we're going to go ahead and place the fillets on a plate. We're going to let these start to cool about 30 minutes at room temperature, and then we have to put them in the refrigerator to cool completely. Now the next thing we're going to make is our duxelles, which is a wonderful blend of shallots and mushrooms. So I have 1 large shallot, and many times they come apart like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take both halves, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finely dice these up. Then to the shallot, I'm going to mince 2 cloves of garlic. Now over at the food processor, I've got 10 ounces of sliced cremini mushrooms. You could also use the little button mushrooms if you want. And I'm just going to pulse these until they become nicely ground up. And you'll see here, I want them to be really, really fine. Now I've rinsed out the pan that I cooked the meat in, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of butter and then put in the garlic and the shallot, and I'm going to cook this on medium-high heat for about 30 seconds. Then I'm going to get all those ground up mushrooms and put them in the pan as well. Now I'm going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt and 1/8 teaspoon of white pepper. And now I'm going to let these mushrooms cook. I'm going to reduce the heat down to medium, and they're going to cook for about 6 or 7 minutes. Now I want to show you the changes the mushrooms go through. After about 2 minutes in the pan, they start to release their liquid, and you can see they're practically floating around in the pan. But we stick with it, we keep stirring, that moisture starts to evaporate, and you can see it's getting a little drier, but towards the end it needs to be really dry, just like this. Now by 7 minutes, we've got these great brown bits on the bottom, so we're going to deglaze that with about 3 tablespoons of a dry white wine. Now I'm using a Sauvignon Blanc, and I'm just going to move that around with my wooden spoon and then take that off the heat. Then you can go ahead and take the mushrooms and transfer them into a little bowl, and when they're cool enough, put them in the refrigerator because they need to be cold as well. Now we're going to get ready to assemble our Wellington. So I have 1 egg with just about 2 teaspoons of water, and I'm going to mix that up with a fork, and I want that egg to get really broken up. This is going to work like our glue. So now I'm going to take a piece of parchment paper, and this is a package of puff pastry, and I've let that defrost in the refrigerator overnight. And when you buy puff pastry, usually it's 2 full sheets. So you're going to want to pull them apart, and we're going to use both sheets, but only one at a time. So I'm going to take this 1 sheet and I'm going to open it up flat on my parchment, and then I'm just going to set the second sheet aside until I'm ready to use it. Now I'm going to have to cut this one sheet in half, so I'm just going to use my pizza cutter, cut it right down the middle. Again, I'm going to remove that one sheet until I'm ready to use it. So this is the first sheet I'm going to use to cover our filet mignon. So I'm going to take a little piece of plastic wrap and put that on top of the pastry. And then I'm just going to use my rolling pin and roll this out. Now, puff pastry is really forgiving. It can get really, really thin, and it also stretches. So what we have to do is make sure that the piece of puff pastry is big enough to completely cover our filet mignon. So once I think I have it about the size I need, I'm going to pull that off, and I can see, yes, I'm going to have plenty of room to wrap this. Then I'm going to take a fourth of my mushroom duxelles, which is 2 or 3 spoonfuls, put it right in the center. Then I'm going to put my filet right on top. And then I'm going to use my egg wash glue, and I'm going to brush that just on the edges all the way around on the puff pastry. Now we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this filet like it was a package. So the first thing we're going to do is to take one of the sides and pull it up on top of the meat. Now, like I was telling you before, puff pastry is really forgiving. It's very stretchy, which is really nice. So we've got the 2 sides. Then I'm going to take the side closest to me and flip that over on top of the meat. Now, it takes a little bit of getting used to working with this, so don't worry, they all look beautiful in the end anyway. So once we've got this over, then I'm just gonna take the whole thing and just roll it. I'll hold on to the parchment and just roll it, and I want to make sure that the meat is pretty well covered all around, and then I'm going to set that seam side down on a piece of parchment on a rimmed baking sheet, and then I'm going to do it 3 more times till I have 4 little individual Wellingtons. Now I'm going to go ahead and cover these with plastic and put them in the refrigerator till it's time to bake them. Then I like to take my Wellingtons out about a half an hour before I'm going to cook them, take them out of the fridge, and then with the rest of that egg wash, go ahead and brush that on each of the Wellingtons. And then I like to take a little bit of kosher salt or some coarse salt and just sprinkle a little bit on top of each. Then we're going to pop these into the oven, and for them to be medium rare, they're going to cook just for 20 minutes. Now, while that's cooking, get a little béarnaise sauce mix and put that together. It's a wonderful sauce to go with this dish. So here they are after just 20 minutes, and look at how beautiful and puffed and golden brown they are. Now these are ready to serve. Now this is a great shot because you can see all the layers of the beef Wellington. We've got that nice medium rare filet with that thin layer of the mushroom duxelles, all wrapped up in that golden puff pastry and just a little puddle of béarnaise sauce. It is delicious.
For more information on this episode, go to our website and visit the Easy Entertaining show notes. Also, if you have any questions or ideas for us, send us an email. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.